Hi everyone. So today we're going to look at these questions on Reddit. So it seems like he want to capture his meeting notes for stakeholders. So the problem that he has encountered is that every time he capture a meeting notes inside Notion, he doesn't actually sync, and then he does have like a whole page that he can see all the notes that he has taken for the whole week. So here we're going to show you how you can actually create it. So basically what we have here is a stakeholders database and a meeting notes database. So the idea is that when you select customer, for example, customer A, you can see that the meeting notes is being shown here only for the specific customer. So for example, we can actually add new. So we can do like team building, for example, and then you can select the dates, for example, maybe 11. So what would happen is that you can go to customer B, and then you can see that it's actually not added for customer B because it's only specific for customer A. So the idea is that every time, even when you create a new customer, so customer D, and then automatically you can see like there's a meeting notes that's only for customer D. So you can just create again, new notes, and then put the dates. So just create a way easier for you to manage for each of your customers for their meeting notes. And then most importantly, at the bottom here, so we have all the customers here written down here, and then also their meeting notes. So we have like a way to organize it, just so we have an overview of everything. And then there's also a calendar. So this is a new feature by Notion. So basically, it allows you to see like a weekly view of that specific week. And then here you can see like all the meeting notes that we have captured for the customers, and then even like based on the views, and then we can see who's the customer for each of them. So this is another view that you have, which I'm going to show you how you can actually create this. So first of all, in order to create this, you will need two databases. So basically, we just create one. So one is called stakeholder database, and then another one is just meeting notes database. So meeting notes. So the idea is that this can be the stakeholder, for example, company A, company B, company C. And then this is where you write down your stakeholder, your meeting notes, for example, daily stand up. So the next thing we need is maybe just include the dates so that we can know like what is the date for the specific notes that we have captured. So you can have two ways. One is you select a date property, which will automatically create it for you. Another one you can use is something called created date or created time. Basically, like every time you create the notes, you just show the created time. But personally, I would prefer the date so I can kind of adjust the time. So that's the second thing. The last thing is just you need to set up the connections between these two databases. So it means that they have to talk to each other, then you can get the data from them. So the thing that we need is something called relation. So if you're new to Notion, so basically relation is like kind of like connecting strings between two databases. So in this case, it's asking us to select like what database we need, right? So we'll select meeting notes and then show on meeting notes, no limits, add relations. So what happens here, just like this, just rename it to meeting notes. We can actually connect it to the meeting notes database, and then you can select daily stand up. So the idea is that in this case, for daily stand up, so it belongs to company A. So next thing is once you open it, you can actually see that there's nothing in this page. We don't have the list that I showed you earlier. So how you can actually do it, right? So it's very straightforward. It's going to use something called link database. But before that, instead of creating inside here, what we want to do is we want it to automatically always create it for you. You don't want to always like create it again, type one again. So the idea is that you can actually use something called a template. So select new template and then just type default. And then at the bottom here, so it is space here, what you need to do is slash link view of the database. Let's just select that. So we want to view the meeting notes here. So select meeting notes. And then I would like to prefer it to be a list. So let me just change the view to list here. So layout and then list. And then generally I prefer to just hide the meeting notes. And then I can just change the words here as well, meeting notes. Right. So now that I have created this, I do not want to see like all the notes for this one, right? Because when I created it, I want to see only for the specific company. So what you need to do is use the filter function, select filter, select stakeholder, and then select default. So it's a bit weird. So wouldn't it like, for example, if you create the template again, right? Wouldn't we just refer back to default? So I'm going to show you how it works later. But for now, this should be done. And then maybe we can just add a logo, Just maybe, okay. So now that we have created a template, the next step is just to make sure that it's being set as default. So meaning that every time you create a new company next time, you just automatically apply the template to it. So for example, company A, we can just select the template manually since we already created it previously. So you can see it's generating the list here. So there we have it. So the meeting notes, and then if you add a new meeting notes, for example, 121 catch up, and select the dates. So then you can select the dates as well. It should be showing the dates though. Interesting that it's not showing the date. So we can just do it manually for now. You can see that it's been created here, and then it's only for company A. So similarly for company B, we can do the same thing, but just to show you another way of doing it, is that once we have created the template, right, and make it default, it's like company B, example. So you can see when you open it, you can see that Notion already created a list for you. And then we can create company B meeting. So it just disappear if you're way too late. So you can put the dates here, go back. So now it's being created for company B. So that's how you can actually kind of link it so that you make sure that you always have access to all of it. So the next step is I prefer this to be a list as well. So this is more like a personal preference. You can use any type of view you want. And then the second thing is that you want to use group. So you want to group it so that it's separated based on the stakeholder itself. So there's a few settings here. So like one thing you need to do is just make sure no stakeholder. So you only show the stakeholders that is being categorized. So any notes that doesn't have a stakeholder, right? So you don't have to show it. So now we have like very nice view, like just separating like company A, company B. And then let me just hide this. So I prefer to be more lean. So we take notes. All right. So now it's looking very similar to what we have earlier. The last thing is just create a calendar. So and then show calendar as. So you can select. By default, it's show as one. So that's a new feature by Notion that they released like I think a few weeks ago. You can select as a week, and then select done. So we can select today. So you can see like these are all the meeting notes that we have captured. So here you can arrange around the notes. For example, you can remove around here, and then you can select properties just to make sure that you show the stakeholders. But yeah, there you have it. So if you like what you're watching, so please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.